Welcome to Trojans Live, the exclusive USC Trojans coaches show.
Williams will keep. He'll run it to the 20, to the 15, down to the 10, 5, and into the end zone.
With behind-the-scenes insights and breaking news from the student athletes who play for the Cardinal and Gold.
Fires. It's intercepted by Bullock at the 20. He's at the 10. He's in the end zone. It's a touchdown, USC. Kalen Bullock, the All-American. How do you do?
Trojans Live is presented by Monster Energy. Unleash the bass. Now, live from Los Angeles, here are your hosts, Jordan Moore, Sean Cody, and Max Brown.
Hello and welcome to Trojans Live, presented by Monster Energy on AM 790 KBC and across the USC Trojans Media Network. We are live here on the USC Athletics YouTube channel. Please jump in the chat. Keely, yours monitoring that. And we'd love to get all your opinions in there. Lots to talk about. A wild game on Saturday night. Trojans come out on the wrong end of it, though. I am Jordan Moore alongside Sean Cody and Max Brown. We are going to be joined shortly by Dennis Simmons, assistant head coach. Lincoln Riley is actually under the weather tonight, so he is unavailable. So we'll talk to Coach Simmons and Coach Shaun Nua, the defensive line coach. But while we wait for that, guys, just a tough night. I mean, it was one of those games, I said to Coach Riley at the end when we did sit down with him, it's just one of those when you look back and there's just 30 different plays. We're sitting here doing it before the show even started, just if that had happened, and those are the ones that just leave you regretting so much or just being upset afterwards.
Yeah, tough one for the Trojans last time, possibly playing Utah at the Coliseum, and just on the short stick things on a couple different aspects. Offensively, never really got it going after the first quarter, which they looked so explosive, and then defensively, just never really could slow down a limited offense in Utah. So yeah, just that far away. But this time in the season, you got to fit. You're learning how to win those kind of situations, and unfortunately, Trojans were on like I said, the short stick.
I think some of the big picture storylines make it tough too, with it being Utah's fourth time in a row beating us and the stakes of what's ahead in conference play, knowing the opponents that are out there that we still have to play. And you figure that was a game that you could get. You figured that was a game you could get because of a backup quarterback in there. And so tough one, but obviously, like Lincoln said, so much ahead of this team in terms of so many talented teams that still have to play. And so a lot to play for from a Pac-12 perspective.
All right, Dennis Simmons is sitting down with us now. Hang out with us, Coach. It's good to have you fresh off the practice field. USC's coach interview is presented by I Trust Capital, the official crypto platform of the USC Trojans. Dennis Simmons, a man of many titles, assistant head coach, wide receivers coach, passing game coordinator. Head coach Lincoln Riley, a little under the weather. How's he doing? How does that affect things for the week? We always forget real people. Everyone gets sick at the end of the day. He's got kids like I do. They probably bring home everything. How's he doing?
He's good. I just spoke with him a minute ago. He's good. Practice went well, and we're just getting ready to head up north and handle business.
Coach, tough one on Saturday. You guys losing in a close one there at the end. Rough one for the guys. Talk about the wide receiver position a little bit. How you guys thought the guys played, and where the improvements need to be.
I thought we did some things. Obviously didn't drop the ball. In that area, there's still some areas in the perimeter pass game as far as perimeter screen blocking that we need to continue to work on and get better at. And, that was one of our focuses that we worked on today.
As an entire offense, you start fast in the first quarter and you finish fast in the fourth quarter to ultimately get the comeback there. But in between, second and third quarter, offense seemed to stall a little bit. Were there any themes to that, or as you're assessing the tape, anything you guys got to address?
Obviously you want to do better in some of those third down situations to keep the chains moving. But it's just, we're a lot closer than, what we would. And it's always just like that one little niche off. We may miss overrun a zone here, or not quite be in the right space there, or not quite pick up something on a protection in there. It's just getting all 11 things to click at the same time on each play. And from an offensive standpoint, that's vital, because if one piece breaks down, then it has a chance to muck up the whole picture.
We talk about the passing game as a whole. It seemed like, particularly early on, you were getting the ball out of Caleb's hands quickly. The protection was good. Was there sort of a concerted effort to try to get the ball out on the perimeter a little quicker in this game?
No, I mean, it was just the we were taking what the defense was giving us. The reads were there, so I mean, we were able to catch and get upfield and keep things moving. Early on, they made some adjustments. We made some adjustments, and then didn't quite go as we would have liked to throughout the intermits of it, and then we got back rolling.
Coach, it sounds like to me like the last couple of weeks is it's been little things, right? It's been hit here, hit there, like you mentioned. At this point in the season, it's getting point like this is critical. This is where the team should be really humming. How do you get that message to the guys? Like, hey guys, it's been a couple of weeks now. This offense hasn't really been clicking. How do we get that message across to the players? Like, all right, if it's a false start or if it's a missed read, how do you get that message to them, like, hey, we're running out. This is meaningful ball here.
Well, I think that's part of the problem is a lot of times there is more thinking than what needs to be done. At this point in time, they know the execution or they know where they're supposed to be in their assignments. It's that anxiety, and you understand it more than most. Having played this game, that anxiety of feeling that extra pressure of like, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that, as opposed to
trying to be perfect.
Trying to be perfect, and as opposed to, you know where you got to get to, you know how you have to maneuver to get there. Just do your job.
Coach, you've been with Coach Riley in the trenches with him for a long time throughout your career. Can you recall being on a staff with this type of feeling where, you have so much talent, you're so close, you've done a lot of good things, but coming off of 2 losses with still so much left to play? Does this vibe right now in the week that we're in right now remind you of a different time with Coach Riley? Yeah,
it was our second year at OU. We went on the Rally to win the conference and go to the CFP. So
it's a good sign.
I noticed Deuce and Mackay getting some more work. They sort of went in a couple times, a couple series. Are those guys doing something on the practice field that you felt like they earned some more opportunities on a Saturday?
Yeah, they're practicing with a sense of urgency and some consistency, and we have as you guys mentioned, we have a wealth of talent in that room. So I mean, this week provided some opportunities to get them out there early, and hopefully that'll be a trend that starts to manifest itself throughout the rest of the season.
Taj Washington continues to have a tremendous year, Coach. Once again with that fingertip catch, I didn't think he was going to get there when the ball went up, and he found a way to get there. Talk about what he's meant to your group.
He's just consistency. He's not only just doing it on the offensive side of the ball. You see in various areas of the special teams that he's making an impact on our football team, and we continue to get guys to play like that, and we have, just to do it more consistently, and things are gonna pan out the way that everybody wishes and hope for.
Feels like every week the receiver room or who's the top receiver changes, but the tight end, it seems like it's always Lake McCree, and that's the position group I think sometimes we kind of gloss over, and not that he's producing at a level that some of these receivers are, but he is the tight end that is getting targets. What does he do well, and what makes him kind of the go-to tight end so far in this offense?
Well, he's a big athletic body that maneuvers well in space, and then he's able to hold up in the run game and at the point of attack, and he's improved his game tremendously, being able to take on some of those defensive ends and one-on-one blocks. So I mean, his value to this team is one of those one of the ones that you don't really necessarily see show up every week on the stat sheets, but it just is. It's incredible what it does to our team because, from a matchup standpoint, and from defenses having to look out and see what kind of personnel is, with his size and his athletic ability, it makes it hard sometimes to, classify what personnel group we're in.
All right, thank you, Coach. This week the matchup is Cal, USC versus Cal. We'll talk about it all show. It kicks at 1 o'clock. Nice afternoon kickoff up in Berkeley. It'll be on Pac-12 Network right here on the USC Trojans Media Network. We will go on at 11 a.m. with the Trojan Tailgate Show. Good luck this week, Coach. Up next, we're going to hear from Shaun Nua, the defensive line coach. He's next on Trojans Live.
Let's get you back to more Trojans Live on your home for Trojans football, AM 790 KABC.
Monster Energy, the official energy drink of USC. Unleash the Beast. And Trojans Live is sponsored by Pechanga Resort Casino, proud partner of USC football. Jordan Moore, Sean Cody, Max Brown, and defensive line coach Shaun Nua joins us now. Coach, kind of the opposite of what we were talking about on the offensive side on Saturday. The first quarter was tough for the defense and then seemed to settle down. What did you guys feel like you fixed and got right after the first couple series?
It always goes down to execution and guys doing their job and us helping them get in position to do their job. So just like you said, start off slow and then we picked it up. But that's the problem. Kind of part of the problem we have right now is just consistency. You know, we got to be consistent if we want to get our defense to where we want to go.
Yeah, Coach, speak on that a little bit, the improvements that need to be made. Is it gap integrity? Is it physical beats? Or what do you feel like the biggest area you guys can focus on?
All 11 guys executing at the same time. You know, and it could be communication, it could be operations, whatever it is, that we got to make sure that we fix that. And that's the problem that we have now, is just all 11 guys not being on the same page. And I tell my room that starts with me first and foremost, you know, and we got to make sure that we do a good job of helping these guys getting all on the same page, so that way they can execute at a high level consistently.
It was great to see Romello Height pop on film last week, and given his story, comes here a lot of expectations in the injury last season, and then battle back to, it feels like he's getting a bigger role as the weeks go by. What's he doing well for your squad?
Well, he's practicing well, practice hard, and executing his job consistently in practice, and you see it, that transfers right into the game. So he's doing a great job of doing that, and he's a hard worker, you know, and Coach Manning is doing a great job with him as well, making sure that he understands his role and his job. So it was good to see him.
You're listening to defensive line coach Shaun Nua on Trojans Live. Coach, Utah was such a unique opponent to play against. They kept throwing sort of wildcat packages at you. They obviously wanted to get back to the run whenever they could, but then they had certainly some interesting concepts in the pass side. But that wildcat, it's something that's come into popularity in the last handful of years. Where does it stress you guys as a defense? What's sort of the keys when you're facing that offensive concept?
First and foremost, as a D-line coach, they put a wildcat in there. You expect the D-line to dominate. But to expand on your question, it forces all 11 players. You can't afford to have a safety deep middle, you know, especially if the D-line's not executing their job or dominating up front. Then you have to have everybody be part of it. Now it's 11 on 11 now. You know, there's no quarterback back there throwing the ball or tossing it off. So that's the challenge. But at the same time, I always look at, we can destroy those guys up front, and you know, they're really not throwing the ball. So that's like recipe for a great buffet for us up front as a D lineman. You know, so that's a challenge. It's just they put wildcat. I got to lick my chops and say, this is time for us to eat.
Yep. Coach, take us through your group a little bit. A lot of rotation this week. You saw everybody out there. Tyrone Taleni, Dejon Benton. You got guys keeping fresh, rolling out there. How's the group playing? And then talk about your guys.
I got a great group, man. Great room. First of all, they're great young men. They're great men. They do a great job off the field, and they are hungry every day. They come to work. The rotation-wise, I really like the rotation. We got some depth, and probably, you know, I can do a better job of keep feeding all of them. You know, like, for example, the Colorado game, I thought I did a poor job with that elevation, and you know, our guys starting off slow. But that's part of our as a coach. But I have a great room, and it's very deep.
Yeah. Yeah, so much was made in the offseason about that rotation and the ability to get to a lot of guys going into the season. It sounds like you know, some weeks you might be where you want to get to. You mentioned the Colorado week and maybe getting to more bodies. One, how do you manage that rotation? And then two, I guess just big picture, where do you feel like depth-wise that room's at?
First and foremost, you got to put in a combination that could help the defense as best as possible. That's the number one thing. What is the best thing for the team? It's not for like, oh, whoa, we got to put this young man in because he didn't play. No, they all are deserving to play. If they made the travel roster, they're deserving to play. But number one is make sure that they're out there to help the team, help the defense. And then number two, you see, like, you try to get some matchups in. You know, oh, well, this is a big O-line, so we need our bigger guys. Or, you know, if depending on the game plan that we have. So the rotation is all about what's the best for the team and the defense.
You know, I said this on Saturday, and I was actually talking about the Utah player that had to miss the first half, but now USC is faced with it as Bear Alexander has to miss the first half of the Cal game. I don't think there's another sport in the world where they suspend people for a half. It puts you in such a unique situation where the kid has to get warmed up all of a sudden when the game's going on and be a big part of the second half. How do you handle it? I mean, such a key part of your defensive line, and you only get him for the second 30.
Well, you can seek comfort and just try to blame the ref all you want, but at the end of the day, you got to find solutions. That's the name of the game. So the next man up, and I have all the confidence in the world of who we have that's going to step up. I thought, we all have thoughts on the call here and there, but at the end of the day, there's nothing you can do about it. You just got to react and find the best solution. So you got to get the next man ready, and I have a lot of confidence who we have.
Coach, big one's coming up still. Obviously, you got Cal this week. What's your group got to do to take this defense and make that next step?
Same thing, consistent execution and dominate the front. We got to make sure we stop the run and just take over the game. That's these young men are great young men. We want to make sure that we push them and challenge them to say just execute at a high level consistently. Starts up front. I can't say it starts up front and then I run from when they're rushing the ball on us. So it's something that I look in the mirror every day and say that was not acceptable. So we got to make sure that we take advantage of this opportunity coming up, and we're excited for it.
All right, well, we are looking forward to it. Thank you so much for taking the time tonight, Coach. USC versus Cal, 1 o'clock start up in Berkeley. We will get going at 11 a.m. Hey, Trojan fans, did you know the Ralph's app gives you easy access to weekly sales and personalized coupons, and you can earn fuel points too? Check out the app today and save while you cheer us on to another great season. Ralph's, proud partner of USC Athletics. We still have another football guest to come in, Jonah Monheim, but next we're going to sit down with Dominique Onu from USC women's basketball. It's coming up on Trojans Live.
Taking you inside the huddle. From the comfort of your car. It's Trojans Live on your home for Trojans football. AM 790 KABC.
The Women's Spotlight is brought to you by Sprouts Farmers Market, open 7 days a week. Visit your neighborhood Sprouts for good-for-you groceries and great prices on the freshest produce. Dominique Onu from USC Women's Basketball is in the Spotlight tonight. She's a redshirt sophomore, transfer from UCLA.
Hey.
Sometimes it takes people a while to get to the right place, but you made the right decision in the end. That's what counts. Jordan Moore, Sean Cody, Max Brown. Good to have you, Dominique. Take us through it, because you transferred in the middle of the season last year, so you've been you didn't get that sort of instant transfer boost that most people get now. Are you excited for your debut here? Sort of a long-awaited debut coming up.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think I took a lot of time to prepare for the season. I think it was nice because coming in, I didn't have the pressure of playing. So I came in, got to know the girls, obviously the coaching staff, got to fill USC out. And so now I'm just excited to finally get close to the season. We're like a week and a half out for our first game, and I'm just excited. It's really fun and exciting.
How about that hoopla night that you guys had a good time, right? That looked like fun out there. What was the best part for you?
Oh, I mean, I had an amazing night, but I think the best part was when, one, our intros, and two, when we went to the crowd. Me and my teammates went to the crowd and got hyped with the people on the sidelines and stuff like that. That was fun, just to engage with the fans and the students that came out to support us, and hopefully we can have those same fans come to our games because they see what we're exciting.
Take us through the intros. I mean, the intros on the women's side, most of the guys were just sort of too cool for school, but on the women's side, everyone, it was like the next person would come out with a new move. I mean, was there some choreography that went into this? Some practice?
For sure. So that morning we had weights at 7 a.m. and after weights we was practicing. Like we turned off the lights in the weight room. We turned off the lights. Everybody had their intro song on and like played the section that they were gonna come out to, and we were all practicing our dance. We were critiquing people, so we was ready. We was ready. Yeah.
It was all the same song or different?
No,
songs?
it was all. You picked your own
pick
song.
your own like walkout
music. Yeah.
And yours had your number in it.
The Drake song. Rich Flex.
Sweet. What order did you fall on the hierarchy there in terms of entrance?
I don't know. I think I was top 3 for sure.
Okay, who was number 1?
AG.
Yeah,
I'll say AG.
Aaliyah Gales went after.
Yeah, AG was probably top 1. She was one on my list.
She was fully committed for sure. Listen, this is the most anticipated USC women's basketball season, honestly, in decades. I mean, really, the arrival of some top talents, yourself included. Tell us about this team. You guys feel like you have the ability to sort of live up to the expectations and really have a special season.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it starts with the people that we got this year and obviously the coaching staff that we have. We've had a lot of changes within the program within the last 6 months. Yeah. We've had 3 to 4 grad transfers that are on our team now. And the freshmen that coming in, Juju Watkins and obviously Malia Samuels, who are going to be huge impact for us. And then people that returned, Rhea Marshall, Taylor Biggs, all those people. And I'm just excited because our group, we connect really well. I mean, instantly in the locker room, off the court, we just connected really well, and it's developing on the court. And when you have people that want to win, that kind of sacrifice the self for the team, I mean, you can do anything. And so obviously we made the tournament last year, but we're not just trying to make the tournament, we're trying to build off of that. And so the goal is Final Four, NCAA tournament, Pac-12 championship. The last year we have it. And so those are high goals, but we put the work in, and I think if you can believe it with the team and the girls that you're riding with, then you can really do anything. So it's definitely possible.
Yeah, you talk about some of those team goals. What about personally for you coming into your season here? What are some of your personal goals?
Man, I just want to come play. I mean, it's been a rough 2 years for me.
Trying to hoop.
Yeah, I'm just trying to hoop for real. I mean, whatever role that looks like for me and my team, honestly, I'm not about stats or anything. Obviously, that is a part of basketball, but I think when you have the team in mind and whatever the coaches need me to step up as, if that's a scorer, if that's a point guard, whatever that is, whatever position I'm put into, I'm going to excel in it because I want this team to win. We want to go places. We have all the pieces to do it. So just kind of go back to this over the team over the self kind of ideology that we're trying to build. And I'm just excited to hoop. Like you said, I'm just excited to hoop, play basketball.
We're excited to watch you, and the first game's a couple weeks away. What's the team got to do between now and then to, get ready to rock for the season?
Take one day at a time. I mean, we've had a close scrimmage, and we have another one coming up this weekend against Texas. And then we're right into it on TNT versus Ohio State. So for us, it's just every day chipping away at something we need to work on, watching film, getting extra work in, taking care of our bodies, like the little things that people might overlook and just say, oh, we want to play basketball and play a game on live television. Okay, what about the preparation for that? So for us, we're just taking it one practice at a time, one drill at a time, and really trying to focus on the details.
Yeah, you opened in Vegas on November 6th. That's part of it's 4 games on the day. Both the men and the women will debut as part of that event, and then your home opener will be on that Friday, November 10th, if my calendar is fully
you're right.
Correct there. What's your role in this team? Having not seen you play a ton, how do you fit into this puzzle?
Definitely a leader. That's one thing that the coaches wanted me to come in and do is lead. I mean, for me, it's like making sure we're on our stuff, in practice, off the court, just kind of leading by example. I've learned a lot through players that I played with from my 2.5 years in college, and so I kind of learned what to do, what not to do, what a team needs, what a team doesn't need from a player, and just kind of building off of that and talking to the coaches about my role, talking to them about how I could be a better teammate, a better leader, and just doing what I can to help this team win. That's really my main goal. I mean, that's why they brought me here. And they put trust into me, knowing that I haven't really played a full season in the role that I wanted, and for them to trust and even to recruit me after they obviously saw potential. So to me, it's just kind of finding my identity and what that looks like as a college athlete, as a professional athlete, hopefully one day, and just trusting the process.
You got a chance during the break to see my post moves. I give you a little couple examples of the shimmy, the old Shaun shimmy shake. How are you going to stop that when the big fella's coming down in the post? How are you going to hold me down there? I'm going to back it in there.
Well, first, I'm not going to let you catch it.
Oh, yeah, that's
right. And then secondly, we're going to take a charge.
I was going to say, we're going this way.
Yeah, we're going the opposite way.
I was good for about 5 offensive fouls a game.
Give me Dominique all day in that one-on-one matchup. She'll be playing 5-on-5 starting on November 6th. Again, that's an awesome event. It'll be on TNT, True TV. You can watch the men and the women, the long-awaited debuts of number one players in the country. Juju Watkins on the women's side, Isaiah Collier on the men's side, and then a bunch of transfers as well on the women's side, including Dominique Onu. So our first look at this team, big excitement around them. Don't wait until game time to plan for retirement. Open your free iTrust Capital account today and get your crypto IRA. iTrust Capital is the official cryptocurrency platform of the USC Trojans. I know Shaun can't back down. Our next guest, it's Jonah Monheim. He's coming up in Trojans Live.
It's like getting a degree in Trojan athletics without the tuition. It's Trojans Live on your home for Trojans football, AM 790 KABC.
The best in the game is brought to you by Old Dominion Freight Line, official freight carrier of USC Athletics, helping the world keep promises. Jonah Monheim having a fantastic season. The redshirt junior left tackle for USC football joins us now. Welcome, Jonah. Good to have you back. Jordan Moore, Sean Cody, Max Brown. Yeah, we talked to Coach after the game on Saturday, and he just said that team's hurting in there. He said, which is right. I mean, that's what it should be. A couple of days later, what's the feel in the locker room?
Yeah, I think that post-game statement from Coach was accurate. Certainly was a brutal loss and painful and disappointing. All those feelings in the locker room. We let a lot of people down with that one, but a couple of days later, there's nothing much you can do about it other than go back to work. And I think we did a good job of that today, and we just got to keep, building on it throughout the week. Obviously, learn from, everything that happened on Saturday, all three sides of the ball, learn from it, get better, come back and compete. That's all we can do at this point.
Talk about the O-line a little bit. You guys made a little change up on the front there. Kingston kicking out to tackle. Mason Murphy coming on to the guard. How did Coach Henson say you guys played, and how did grade out?
Yeah, I think he said we did better than the week before, and that's always the goal.
Seemed especially like when you guys started, you guys were coming out. You guys were punching on the mouth.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean that's the goal is to grow as a unit. Do whatever we can do to be the best product on the field, and Coach went with that after our week of practice, and like you said, I thought we did a decent job out there.
A lot of rotation on the offense line, even just more so like back into the offseason trying to figure out where everyone was going to play. But it felt like, hey, you had Dedich in the middle, and we knew that you were going to be one of the tackles. You played right tackle last year, now at left tackle. How big of a transition or difficult of a transition was that for you this season?
I'd say it was, there are definitely some difficulties to it. At the end of the day, playing O-line's playing O-line, regardless of the position. There's a lot of things that you can learn and understand how to do without playing the position just by, being coached and listening very carefully and things like that. But in terms of flipping sides, it was a little difficult at first. My left leg was so much stronger for kicking right for so many years.
Yeah.
But you flip and now, you're really right leg dominant on the left side. So little things like that, timing with your hands and learning, your body postures all flip, your core and your hips and just things like that. But really just it comes with reps, it comes with experience, it comes with time, and yeah.
Are you right-handed or left-handed?
Right-handed, majority of things. Yeah.
Oh,
I feel you on that.
things.
I'm in extras too, so I always
Okay.
Like sometimes I, but yeah, I'd say right-handed.
Do you do anything left-handed? You play golf?
I remember when I played basketball a lot, I preferred lefty layups. Lefty layups, lefty floaters, lefty hooks. I prefer.
Yeah, there are guys
although
like
I
that.
shot my jumper right-handed.
Yeah, there are guys like that like to get back to the left hand even if they're right-handed.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering if that matters, the hand position. All you mentioned the legs, but you're sort of dominant hand if that matters. But if you're so comfortable with both, maybe that is what helps you flip from side to side pretty easily.
Yeah, I mean it's all O-line play. You got a outside hand, inside hand, and then you flip them, and it's still an outside hand and inside hand. So
yeah.
Jonah, take me through this a little bit. Obviously, a play is called in the huddle, and right, you got to run or a pass off it, and you guys got to block the run as hard as you can without going past however many yards, and sometimes you see guys get down there. How difficult is that as an offensive lineman when you have a run pass option, but you got to block your guys still, and you sometimes that leads you further than maybe you should be.
I think a lot of the times, Coach does a great job of having it built into the play call. You really just got to be disciplined. There's certain plays that we know, all right, you can't go past 3 yards. That's just the play call. Then there's times that, like you said, we really are blocking more for the run than the pass, and kind of if that happens, then it's unfortunate because there are some that we're more so just blocking for the run. But if it is the ones that we know this one's more looking like a pass, then we got to be disciplined in that up front.
And another unique position you're put in is just having a quarterback like Caleb back there where so much of the plays that he does make are scrambling around. Not because you guys aren't protecting him, but, hey, if the secondary's, locking up guys up, Caleb's got the trust in his legs there. How is that handled inside the offensive line room in terms of, make sure you don't hold or be wary of where he's at? Just how does Coach approach that whole dynamic?
Biggest thing is effort. Biggest thing is fighting and straining, even if it's a real long rep or you lost the rep or you're fighting for the last inch, whatever it is, just keep fighting. Even if your guy's by you, go try to hit someone else because we know if we can just keep fighting and keep the play alive, he's certainly going to be able to make something happen. And that's the biggest thing. And you mentioned holding. It is a tough thing, but if you feel your guys start to slip away, just let them go. it is what it is, and look for someone else. Just keep fighting. Biggest thing is effort.
You're listening to Jonah Monheim on Trojans Live. Back-to-back really physical opponents in Notre Dame and Utah, line of scrimmage type games. Body maintenance this time of year, the games just keep coming thick and fast. You're a veteran now, so I assume you've learned some things to sort of take care of yourself. What's the key for you so that you're still strong and out there week after week as these games get more and more important?
I try to treat every day the same. The way I tape and prehab and rehab my body, like I try to keep it the same, whether it's a Monday, a Tuesday, or a Saturday. And then between prehab and rehab, also just recovery and trying to hit the tubs and compression boots and whatever it is, so you could kind of feel fresh on game day, as well as staying in the weight room and staying on top of that.
Sounds like you got a pretty good routine there, but I need to know about that hair routine, man. Those curls are golden and crispy, man. Give me the hair routine real quick, man. It looks like a well-maintained flock there, bud.
Thank you. Honestly, it's I don't have a set in stone routine, which I probably need one. I just use what my mom recommends me to
shampoo
use.
guy, shampoo guy, conditioner guy. How you set up?
I mean, sometimes it's got to be both.
Yeah.
But yeah.
After those long ones, you might need to throw a little scrub a dub.
Yeah, it needs a little bit of both.
Last one from me here. It feels like over the years, ever since I've been involved with SC, we've had a lot of offensive linemen that start one year and they play well, and they're great college players, but they lose that ability to keep on progressing every single season and getting better. That feels like that's not the case with you, where you made a big stride last offseason and another big stride this offseason. Is that because of maybe your mindset of how you're approaching the prehab and the rehab, or when I say that, what goes into that of your ability to continue? It feels like to get better every single quarter that it feels like the past couple of years.
Thank you. I'd say it just goes back to, I'm nowhere near where I can be, and there's so many things that I need to get better at across the board. Just trying to be coachable in every single way. Listen to everything that Coach Henson, Coach Crabtree say, whether it's in regards to me or whether they're coaching someone else on a play. There's still so many things that I can learn from them and get better at, and I'm always trying to improve at those things. And each week is a new challenge because you're trying to build individually, but then also, the opponent changes, and the DNs may be completely different. They may be trained completely different with completely different moves, and kind of what you just built on may not really be that important this week, or whatever it is. It's tough to manage, but always just trying to get better and take as much feedback as possible.
Well, the challenge this week is the Cal Bears. Jonah Monheim will lead his line out there up in Berkeley. Game will kick off at 1 o'clock. We will go on at 11 a.m. When you've got good beer and good vibes, it's all Buena. Stone Buena Vesa Salt and Lime Lager is Baja-inspired and imported from San Diego. Located near you at find.stonebrewing.com. Thank you, Jonah. When we come back, it's our weekly football roundtable. Keely, yours here on Trojans Live.
Covering all things SC.
Touchdown, USC!
It's Trojans Live on your home for Trojans football, AM 790 KABC.
Want the inside scoop on this game and all things Trojans? Be sure to sign up for the 3 Torches presented by Smart & Final. It's a free newsletter that'll hit your email inbox 3 times a week with game info, player insights, and more. Go to usctrojans.com/3torches and sign up. Jordan Moore, Sean Cody, Max Brown, and Keely Orr joins us now, our weekly football roundtable. We talked about it a little bit at the top. I mean, just so much coming out of this game. What was your sort of takeaway as you walked away from the Coliseum on Saturday night? What stuck with you?
It was a hard rewatch, obviously. It was one of those where I hate games like this because I feel like you could slice it so many ways. If they just did this, if they just did this, if this call went their way, and that's the heartbreaking one. I mean, the offense played well, all things considered. I was not expecting, given what we saw the last couple of weeks from this offense going up against a top defense in the nation like Utah. I thought that they looked more like the offense we know USC to be. There seemed to be a confidence. Marshawn Lloyd got off to a good start. Taj Washington played well as well. So I thought that was one of the positives to take out of Saturday.
Did you notice any changes offensively, Max? I asked Coach Simmons about the ball getting out of Caleb's hands a little quicker, but he sort of just said that the first read was there, and that was kind of why that happened. But after some issues with pressure the last couple of weeks, they obviously solved it in some ways, but did they solve it with the play calling, or did they solve it just because the offensive line was better?
Yeah, probably a little bit of both. It's funny, you're right with the ball getting out of his hands quicker, but I still feel like, these past couple of weeks we've seen a little bit more of Caleb hero ball than I feel like saw early on in the season. And when this offense is really cooking, less of the plays where it's, hey, you're dropping back, and then it just feels like he's just gearing up to roll out there. I think for me, I pointed out, that's why I asked Coach about it, the second and third quarters, the offense stalls out a little bit. Marshawn Lloyd had that great run early, but then doesn't have the carries the rest of the game. And I think that's a little bit of, hindsight's 20/20. I think they want to make sure Caleb, the ball is in his hands and he has the opportunity to really elevate. But then when you lose that game and you look back, you're like, well, man, should you have got Marshawn Lloyd more touches? And I know Lincoln, goes back and forth with that. I'm sure he does. But that is one stat that really stuck out to me walking away from this game.
Yeah, and I did look at it, Sean, and they didn't have the ball a lot in the second or third quarter either because they couldn't really sustain drives. So that's part of it too, where maybe those it's like when you only get 3 plays a drive, nobody's getting a lot of touches.
Yeah, it was frustrating on the rewatch, I think, to watch it and see the run game and how dominant I thought the offensive line. I mentioned it. Remember watching it and being like, man, we look physical tonight. I'd commented before in games prior like, we look like we come out flat. We're not firing off the ball. But that game, the offensive line, I told Jonah that they came flying off the ball. Man, they were knocking people around. Utah, who has been a great run-stopping defense. They were making room, creating room, and some of that was Utah was willing to accept that. And I think Utah probably thought that they were more worried about Caleb Williams stopping that pass, so they were going to give up some running game. But I still thought they should have kept the pedal on that running game because that really, I think, when SC's offense is clicking, that running game is moving. It's going up and down, and it gets a little stally when it starts firing just passes, and the other team can kind of sit there and get ready for it.
I think the biggest thing we got wrong as a group, or was unexpected, it was a much higher scoring game than we thought. I mean, I really think anyone that was giving score predictions that I talked to sort of thought the winner would be in the 20s and maybe the loser would be in the teens kind of thing. Both teams in the 30s right at the end. So it was a fairly high scoring game. Utah, boy, they find a way under Kyle Whittingham, huh? I mean, there's a safety back there playing running back, and I don't know if that's his first time doing it. He might have a future doing it. He was unbelievable.
Unreal night. And that was someone who Cody Kessler in our preview, Red Dot guy, he said both ways. And it was just wild to see him play as well as he did.
Yeah, I think the disappointing thing is maybe the game planning for the whole situation. You get a chance to see it against Cal, and you're thinking you gotta key up for this. You got to be ready for this. There's not many things. Obviously, I think Utah did a great job involving him in the passing attack.
I was going to say that was the wrinkle.
Which was the wrinkle for that, and unfortunately, he ends up on Braylon Shelby a couple times and some big plays there. But I just think even in the running game with Jaquindon Jackson, he was. Being the quarterback in the Wildcat and kind of running it off him. Some interesting things there, but I just thought it was on tape a little bit. You got to be ready, prepared. What are we going to do? And you could hear it kind of in Coach Nua's voice that just not prepared enough for what was how they were attacking it.
And I think it's one of those things, if we're being honest, outside of that pick six, that's Bryson Barnes' best game of the season. And I think great teams and great defenses, you take away what a team does best. And I think going into that game, to stop the run more and force Bryson Barnes to really win on a one-on-one matchups on the outside. In hindsight, it would have been great to see that more. But credit the kid for playing well. But looking back, that is one of the things we were saying, man, the reason we didn't have this score prediction is because we didn't think Bryson Barnes was going to play that well. Why did Bryson Barnes play that well? Because we gave him opportunities that he took advantage of.
Yeah, and I still don't think that Utah asked him to do a ton. And that was sort of, I think, one of the difficult things about calling the game was, a lot of what they were doing felt programmed. He was hitting his first read. A lot of the big plays came on those like wheel routes that we talked about. He's not back there scanning the field, going through 3 or 4 progressions. When he did that, that's sort of when you saw the pick 6. Mostly they sort of programmed him to do it, and it worked when he was out there. And then they ran a lot of the running game, and he used his legs more. I mean, I said at the beginning of the broadcast I didn't think he would be a weapon in the running game. They used him more in design runs. He's not some crazy ad-libber, but ultimately the ad-lib on the final play is the one that broke the back.
And that works both ways, right? Like, you're right. He wasn't going to second and third progressions, and we just got beat by maybe a Michael Penix or a Bo Nix who we'll face later in the season. But then the flip side also exists where, like, if they're, scheming things wide open and it's almost easy on that offense in some regard, that's a concern in its own right. But it just feels like, you can sense the frustration a little bit of it's just little things here and there. It feels like every week it's one block there, one alignment there, one missed tackle on late in the game that you allow a quarterback leaking for a 30-yard gain. Just here and there, you can sense that frustration. I've been part of those programs where you feel like you're that close, and it feels like that this is one of those teams.
We have been talking about maintaining rush lanes here at USC since the national championship game when Vince Young broke all our hearts, and the inability to contain on that night is something I'll never forget. But it was probably even before. I mean, I remember even in those peak days of Pete Carroll defenses of being like, oh, the mobile quarterback is the one that can be a problem. Now every quarterback's mobile, even a kid like Bryson Barnes who may not light up the 40. That play, Shaun, I mean, is that what that comes down to? Is it a lot harder than we make it sound when we're just contain and maintain your rush lane? Also people love to talk about the spy, I think because it's one football concept that they can understand. The person is a spy, but like what did that come down to? Well,
you're asking a defensive lineman to do a lot of things, right? You're asking him to play as ferociously and hard as he can and do anything he can to try to get to this quarterback, but you're also saying, we'll do that in a confined space and don't. So it is difficult because you're, like I said, you're putting it all out there, and if you get nudged a little bit, you're out of your lane. So, and guys go out of their lanes all the time, but it's really more of, to me, it's always been just a feel for your whole group, right? You kind of know your guys, what to expect. You've rushed with this guy to your left or to the right. You kind of know what he's going to do. I think a good defensive line has good leaders on that line, and they can fill in those spots. Like, I know my guys over here, or they're gonna work a game, or this guy's gonna rush deep, and I have an opportunity. So it's more knowing those kind of things, and it's really the responsibility of the defense and the play call, to be quite honest. If it depends if you're in zone or man. If your defensive line knows you're in man, then no eyes on the quarterback. The quarterback knows that. He knows he can take off. If you're in zone, then maybe some more eyes on it, and you can play a little different. So a lot of different aspects to it, but it's as a defensive lineman, man, you're asking a guy, 300-pound guy to brush his butt off and try to tear it upfield, and he might, get nudged a little bit. And so in that perspective, it is.
Yeah, and I haven't rewatched the play, but I believe they were in man on that play because I do remember vividly watching the cornerbacks running the exact opposite direction, or I guess the same direction that the quarterback was running. And, I think, again, to the untrained eye, that can kind of look bad. Like, why don't they see this? But that's, they're sort of doing their job, and that's kind of football, right? Everyone's got a job to do, and when one person doesn't, or a group of people don't, it breaks down.
I think we're hearing this word. It's just it's a consistency issue for me right now. This team, you watch this, and it's turning into consistently inconsistent. I think and that's the problem. You're at the mid part of the year here, and you're just seeing way too many inconsistencies at this moment. If you see these kind of breakdowns early in the season, you say, we can tweak this and tweak this. The tweaks haven't really come. And we keep kind of thinking we're going to get a better product every week, and we're kind of just getting the same thing because those inconsistencies, and they got to find a way to get those fixed, or else this thing can kind of keep swinging the wrong direction. And if they can't get those little things fixed, it could get ugly here.
And it's one of those things, too, that the more you start thinking about, hey, I just got to fix this one little thing, then the next little thing can pop versus
instead of just playing ball.
The best teams just play free. They just react. They just go. That's how this team was last year. And it's a fine line for Lincoln that he'll have to navigate of, doubling down on these mistakes and saying, hey, we got to fix these things. We got to be consistent. And then on the other side, guys overthinking and not playing free, especially when you're getting into that too deep late in the season where it's backups that might just naturally have to think more. It's a fine line there.
Keely, when the schedule came out this week, screamed trap game. Notre Dame, Utah, then at Cal, a team that's going to have a lesser record. Then you come back and you play Washington, Oregon, UCLA, right? I mean, it is like the most obvious trap game ever. That's sort of out of the. We don't have to worry about that now. I mean, it's sort of an all hands on deck, kitchen sink kind of game. They have to get this turned around, knowing what's coming.
100%. And I feel like the team itself is taking it game by game. You can't overlook everything. We saw them come out of the bye week and kind of look kind of sleepy against Arizona State, and I think that in itself was a wake up call that each game you need to bring your best. Not that they didn't necessarily think that, but now they know that they need to bring it every week.
Well, you just saw it with Washington.
100%.
Good enough to beat Oregon in an incredibly emotional game at home, and then they were still at home, played Arizona State, and just sleptwalked through 60 minutes. And if Arizona State had any sort of kicking situation, they might have won that game. They refused to kick field goals. I've never seen it. I don't know if you guys were watching that game after
it was
after
brutal.
Got back.
Yes,
they were down like the 5-yard line, and they were like, I don't know if we trust it. We're going to go for it. It was unbelievable. But this is the story of the season. But they're a tricky opponent. We saw that firsthand.
Totally. And
Scataboo. He's a player.
Yeah, no, exactly. He does everything in zero emotion too, which always cracks me up.
Monster Energy is the official energy drink of USC. Unleash the beast and fight on Trojans and fly on with ONT. Ontario International Airport is a proud sponsor of our USC Trojans. Visit SoCalSoEasy.com to book your journey through ONT today. All right, one more segment to come. Our over-under is next on Trojans Live.
Cue up the band, because Trojans Live is back exclusively on your home for Trojans football, AM 790 KABC.
Trojans Live is sponsored by Pechanga Resort Casino, proud partner of football, which brings us to our Pechanga over-under. Jordan Moore, Sean Cody, Max Brown, Keely, your one final segment of Trojans Live on a Monday night. I have a sort of a larger question here that goes with the over-under.
Oh.
And it's, it's just sort of something we can get into more on the Saturday show as well. Zachariah Branch is obviously an explosive, just an electric talent. He would have been the story after the game if USC had won with that punt return, an incredible moment inside the Coliseum. with that said, he is not making a huge impact at wide receiver. He had 2 touches in the game. One of them was a touchdown, but 2 offensive touches in the game. So over under 6 offensive touches for Zachariah Branch on Saturday. I'll let you know his season high is 5. Ooh. So, what my ultimate question is the 2 people they compare him to are Tyreek Hill and Tavon Austin. Tyreek Hill is a wide receiver 1. Tavon Austin became a gadget guy. They're both electric, but Zachariah, is his future as a wide receiver 1, and how that's ultimately what he wants it to be. How does he get there instead of being a gadget guy, which, ultimately right now is basically where he is in this offense.
I'm trying to think through. I've called 1 Cal game, so I know their defense well, trying to have a matchup thing. But my gut says that this will be the mold of this game offensively will be we need to get back to doing what we do, and there will be less scheming for specific guys. So I'm going to go under on this.
You looking at me?
Yeah, go ahead.
The problem with the progression of the numbers that you said with Zachariah Branch, how much did the injury impact how they wanted to use him? For sure,
you have to wonder that because he hit 5, right off the bat. San Jose State, he had 5, he had 4 catches. He's had a couple pretty big games a receiver with 4 catches and like 65, 70 yards.
I'm going to say over.
It just feels like the breakout's coming to me. I don't know if it's Saturday, but he's just too talented to not have a bigger impact on the game.
It seems like he could take the top off a little more, and we really haven't seen them use in that capacity. So I'm going to say under. I think they're going to. I think a lot of this could be problem solved. Let's pound that rock a bit.
There's so many receivers involved, and I think it's going to be one of those things of we need to do what we do. We're not calling it for a specific player. Whoever's there, go execute because we're that good.
It's a big game. They need to get that dub. 1 o'clock on Saturday. We'll go on at 11 a.m. Trojans Live is a production of USC Sports Properties and Playfly Sports. Our executive producers Drew DeHart, Rick Cutler is our producer-engineer, and Herman Aguilera back at the studio. Thank you for watching us. Thank you for listening to us. We'll be back on Saturday. Let's beat the Bears and fight on.
You can't spell victorious without USC.
4th and 9. This is the ball game. Takes the snap, steps up in the pocket, throws for the end zone. It is caught. Touchdown, USC.
Trojans Live was presented by Monster Energy. Unleash the beast. Make sure to check back in next Monday night at 7 for more Trojans Live. Exclusively on your home for all things Trojan, AM 790 KABC. And follow us on the USC Trojan Media Network. Trojans Live is an exclusive presentation of Playfly Sports on AM 790 KABC and the USC Trojan Media Network.